let me just see. Let me just get my little piggies in there anyway.
Let me just shove them piggies, just one. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And we have got such a show for you today. I got to tell you, I'm very excited about some of listen, to say that I'm excited about a Microsoft Developer Direct
sounds wrong.
It hasn't happened yet, but this is the one.
Okay.
This is the one. We've got that. We've got a bunch of other stuff for you. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, what we need you to do is click every button.
Except for the bad one.
There's one bad one.
You can click all of the others.
Can you figure it out?
I'm not going to tell you which.
Do
you need us to spoon feed it to you?
Nom, 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 nom.
What do you need from us?
This is you. This is you when we spoon feed you everything. Nom, 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 nom.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing?
We're existing. I can tell you that much.
It's it's look, the last time we saw you was on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday was a pretty
big day. But still a very different world than this Friday.
Yeah, Monday started out where we knew it would be a bad day. But when we saw you at 9 a.m. on Monday, it was not yet the world we are now in on Friday.
Yeah.
We have since shifted dimensions into another place.
Oh, like those kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're shifting now.
Yeah, exactly. I shifted into a dimension where Wednesday Addams is my wife and we have 3 children and I miss them every day.
Yeah. I lived a whole life. I lived a whole life there.
Yeah.
Where that shifting were real.
Yeah.
Saige.
Hey.
I started an ill-advised endeavor.
What? Everybody gasp at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I know. It's not like me. Usually, all of my decisions are incredibly well thought out and they make sense.
Uh-huh.
I decided that this week was the week where I was going to really clean house, get rid of all unneeded things.
Okay.
Sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really just clean it all up.
Do you think that psychologically that was a response to a feeling of a lack of control of what's happening in the world around you?
No, I don't think my feelings have anything to do with the outside world. I think that I'm a tough guy and I am stoic and I am perfect.
Okay, sure.
That being said, this is the wrong decision.
Yeah?
My place is just, the piles are out of control.
Is it in the worst before it gets better and the gets better isn't coming?
It's certainly in the worst.
Yeah.
It's certainly in the worst.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I keep getting to points where it's like, there's nothing to be done. There's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
Until I get rid of some of this stuff, there's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
But getting rid of everything requires what? I got to take pictures of it. And then I got to post it.
Ooh.
And then I got to field requests about the thing.
No.
Oh, is the thing available?
No.
Oh, is the thing in good shape?
Oh, when are you going to be available to?
Oh, can I
come see it?
Can I come see the thing before I get the thing?
Can I come touch it?
Can I come into your personal space and touch the thing?
No.
Oh, and then by the way, I don't show up.
Yes.
Or I don't show up and then I text you at like 11:30 at night and I'm like, "Are you still around?
Come?
I want to come touch the thing now."
I'm still not I'm not sure if I want it. I just want to touch it.
It's a $20 thing.
Yeah.
Just, you either want the thing or you don't. It's $20. It's $20. It's the price of eggs, which has not changed.
The last time I was selling something on Facebook Marketplace was when I moved. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just like offloading a bunch of things. And I had bought 2 pairs of the same pair of shoes. And I was like, brand new in box, fully wrapped up, has all the stuff in the shoes still.
Yeah.
Brand new shoes. And I'm selling them for literally $15. Okay.
And if I know you, those were some pricey shoes.
Yeah. I'm just like, whatever. It's shoes. Okay. It's fine.
Shoes.
Oh my God. And this woman shows up and she starts taking them out to put them on her feet. And I'm like, oh, no. They're brand new. You cannot put them on your feet.
No,
I'm so sorry.
If you put them on your feet, you have bought the $15 shoes.
So you can purchase them and then you can put them on your feet every day if you want. That's none of my business.
Yeah.
But until you have given me $15, I cannot have your foot in that shoe. And she fucking Karen'd down so hard. She threw a fit in my driveway yelling at me because she's like, well, how am I supposed to know if they fit? And I'm like, maybe you don't. Maybe you waste $15. I have told you the size. I have told you they fit true to size. If you are a size 6, truly, then they will fit like a size 6. If that is not a $15 gamble you are willing to take, then you simply have to leave.
That's all.
And she kept trying to grab at the shoes and get them on her little feet anyways.
Why?
Because you know she wasn't a size 6. As a 17, if she can jam her foot in there and you know it.
But no. But no, you've been told no. You've been told the shoes will not be yours now.
Yes.
Good day. And you're like, let me just see. Let me just get my little piggies in there anyway.
Let me just shove them piggies just once.
Let me just get them toesies in there.
They'll basically still be new if I put the piggies once.
I used to fear putting things on eBay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, and then I got to mail it and I got to I got to answer questions. I love putting things on eBay now. Compared to a Facebook marketplace.
Yeah.
The only terrible thing about eBay is that like eBay will let anybody return anything they've purchased for just like any reason.
Oh.
They'll just be like, yeah, there's that. Yeah. I mean, eBay is really like, which is good. It's very customer oriented, which is I think what saved eBay.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, people were just getting scammed on eBay.
Yeah.
So eBay was like, fine, hassle-free returns for everyone.
Got it.
Except the person who's selling it.
Yeah. Big hassle for you.
Huge hassle for me. I sold a phone on eBay. Almost $1,000, right?
Sure.
I sold a phone. When got the phone, was like, I don't think so. And I was like,
don't think what?
It's phone. It's exactly what you ordered.
Bought phone.
Sent phone back. Mailroom and my P.O. box couldn't find phone.
No.
Phone got lost.
No.
When she shipped it back to me, she didn't put insurance on it the way I put insurance on it when I shipped it to her.
Of course.
And now I'm like, so I've just lost $900? Is that what happened? That's what happened.
And this is also an ADHD thing. I assume if I'm buying something online, it is not returnable. That's
just
how
mine.
I exist.
That's just mine. I've just rolled the dice.
That's just, like from here, I can decide what to do next. I can give it to somebody or whatever. But like, save for Amazon, because you can always return things to Amazon and should for any reason.
Any reason. Maybe it's been 29 days and you've gotten all you were supposed to get out of that thing. Send it back.
I don't know. Except for that, anything that I get offline, it's just mine forever now. Or I may pass the curse on to someone else, but I will never be shipping something back. And the only reason I'll do an Amazon return is because you can take it to in-person locations.
Yes.
You can take it to the grocery stores. You can take it to like drop-off locations. That is, I will not purchase something online that isn't from Amazon that I can't afford to like be like, well, that was a bummer. Especially secondhand. Secondhand, I'm never returning.
No.
Secondhand, never in my life. I'll buy from Depop mostly, never returning to Depop. You think I'm going to ship that back to somebody? Are you joking?
Are you joking me?
I don't even, look, I'm 29 years old. I don't even know where I'd put a stamp.
Look, on the selling things side of it, which is where I am now, I have so many things that I know are worth like $10, $15, $5, $10, $50, like, and there's so many of them.
Yes.
And it's like, to get rid of all of these things, I'm getting rid of hundreds of dollars if I just toss them.
That was my mindset when I moved.
But the individual thing, to get the $10,
not worth it.
I'm doing so much work.
But I have $200 worth of $10 things.
What do I do?
But what do I do? And that's what happened with the shoes, where I was like, I'm going to do this all at once. It'll be a Facebook Marketplace day. I will put the things by the door and I will stand outside and I will hand them the thing and they will walk away. And not once is that what happened. Not ever is that what was going to happen. Nobody could just come by. And I buy things off Facebook Marketplace a ton for the studio. Yeah. For like set pieces and stuff, constantly buying things off Facebook Marketplace. I bought stuff off Facebook.
There's at least once a week, Saige or I will send each other a completely frivolous Facebook Marketplace thing where it's just like,
to buy something stupid.
We don't need this.
Yeah. But when I show up, I want you to know. And this is also the same mindset as I need to be the fastest person in the TSA line. I'm showing up with exact cash. Okay?
Yes.
I'm showing up with room in my car.
Yes.
Okay? I'm showing up with the number of people it takes to lift it and not expecting you to help me.
Yes.
Okay? I'm showing up with all of those things prepared. Almost never do I need to look at the thing first. I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting.
I know what I'm getting.
I know what I'm getting. I'm coming with exact cash, the amount we agreed upon.
Because if I'm buying something off of Facebook Marketplace,
yes,
I have studied your pictures.
100%.
I have read your description up and down.
Yes.
I have decided this is the thing. It is in the condition.
Yep.
I am willing to take the gamble.
Yes.
I don't need to show up and poke and prod at the thing.
Unless I get there and it is a different item.
Yes.
Unless I get there and it is not in any way the thing you pictured. Okay, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. It's all good. People who show up and they're like, oh, well, I didn't bring cash. What were you expecting? What did you think you were going to do here? Why not?
If I always ask in advance, if the ad doesn't say cash only, I always ask in advance.
Cash or Venmo?
Hey, are you cool with Venmo? If not, I'll go get cash.
Also, a recommendation if you're selling things on something like Facebook Marketplace, you probably shouldn't accept Venmo because people can do chargebacks. The reason a lot of people don't want to deal with it is because people can say, haha, never mind, give me my money back. And Venmo will be like, well, fuck you, I guess.
Here's the thing about, now somebody said, I just give stuff away and remain poor. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about giving stuff away. When I try to give things away.
Same problems.
When I try to give things away, I get more questions.
I agree.
There's a David Foster Wallace short story. I think it's in Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. And it's this story about how a guy lived on a farm with his dad, and his dad would always have like good, usable stuff that he wanted to give away for free.
Yeah.
And when he tried to give things away for free, people would come up and they'd kick at it and they'd ask him 100 questions and they'd drive away.
Yeah.
He put a $1 price tag on it, and people showed up, gave him $1, put it in their truck, and ran away because they thought they were getting a deal.
It's a weird psychological thing, and it's a thing that I've discovered a lot with like owning a small business. In like the different types of clients we take on, the people that pay you the most will be the easiest to work with. And that's insane to me and shouldn't be the case. The people who are like, I've given you $38, video please, will be like, and I have a million notes and I have a lot of thoughts and I really want to be involved in the process. And I get it. And there is a thing that goes into it where it's like, yeah, because that's a significant amount of money for you. And for like a huge company or a very wealthy person, $1,000 is fucking nothing to them when $15 is everything to you.
Yes.
Right? And I get it. I do. But if somebody is listing something for free on Facebook Marketplace, shut up.
Just shut up.
Just shut up.
Hey, just shut up.
Shut up. Thank you. Shut up.
The best luck I've had selling stuff, minus that $900 phone, which, lady, if you're out there, you'll get yours. You'll get yours. Karma will take care of you. But I sold a lot of my old cameras because I don't shoot film anymore.
Yeah.
So I sold a bunch of old cameras, and I had a lot of decent cameras that I had collected over the years. Whenever I sold one of those cameras, and it was like $150 for the camera, because like I know that on eBay they're like $250.
Yeah.
But $150 is great.
Great.
You know, more than I paid for the camera back in the day. Whenever I had like a $150 camera, people showed up, they looked at the camera, they hit the shutter once maybe. They're like, cool, looks clean, looks good. Thanks, bye.
Yes.
$15, $20 things, I'm dealing with 18 people.
Well, can you take a photo of me with it really quick so I can see if I like how it looks?
No, it's a film camera.
You don't think you could just, I mean...
Could you take a photo and we'll run to the 1 hour photo place?
We'll have it printed. I've got a dark room.
Yeah, we'll go to... I tried to give away, yesterday, Saige, I tried to give away on my, this is a news show.
We already said what we're going to talk about.
I tried to give away on my Instagram, close friends, yesterday.
I saw it.
Couple things.
I'm a close friend. No big deal.
No big deal. A couple things. Number one, my film developing chemicals, darkroom tank, that stuff.
Yeah.
A little setup just for developing color film at home in your sink. Come get it. So many questions from close friends.
What? Those aren't close friends. They get removed from the close friends list.
They might.
They should lose their privileges.
The second one was I have the Labo robot fighting set unopened.
Very cool.
And I was like, hey, does anybody want this? Come get it. I got some questions about what Labo was. I got a couple friends of mine who were Nintendo employees or not Nintendo employees anymore, sending me their opinions about Labo and fuck Labo and all this stuff. Kind of funny. I enjoyed those.
What's Labo? Google it.
Nobody took the free Labo. Just take the free Labo. Just take it. Hey. You can have it. My exact wording was, do I know any people with kids /stoners with kids?
Yes.
Who want this free Labo?
Yes. That should be so easy. We have to, as a society,
bring back Labo?
Back to Googling.
I'll get back to Googling.
We have to, and I know.
But Google has been destroyed.
You can still find answers to things. What is Labo? Answerable on Google.
That's answerable on Google.
You can 100% get the answer to that.
Yeah.
You can absolutely get the answer to that.
Gemini might not even fuck that one up.
Right. Like you can, if you're looking for a specific web page, sure. But Google functions to get the basic answers to a question.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, as far as like search engines goes,
yeah.
You want to look up together.
Can you?
You want to look up this.
What's this?
This is Google with every single piece of trash removed.
Whoa.
This is Google that sends you results based on their relevancy. What it is it's called search with an X, N-G. When you look it up, you're going to get a GitHub page.
Yes.
That's because this is a search engine that you can install locally on your computer if you want to. And nobody can ever take the search engine away from you.
Okay, but it still connects to the internet and searches the internet?
Yes, but it's hosted on your computer.
Okay.
And nobody can add any advertising or break it or remove it from a server or take it down with like a DMCA. But what you will find on that page further down is there's a place called search.space, and it lists everybody who is currently running a public version of this.
No. Yeah.
A public version of this that you can use.
Wow.
So I can see
do it.
Everybody can host this, can put it online for other people.
That's cool.
But it's a good, clean version of the Google algorithm, which is still good underneath all the trash.
Wow.
Which, like, somebody said that I'm using DuckDuckGo. I used DuckDuckGo for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much better experience.
Mm-hmm.
But their search results still weren't as good as Google without all the trash removed.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I want DuckDuckGo to get better. There used to be a perfect one called Hoogle. WHOOGLE.
Okay.
Hoogle was the best version of Google, and it was one that you installed on a server as well. Google took it down.
Yeah.
It was so good. That was
probably the end result.
It was so good that Google absolutely took it down and destroyed its functionality.
Yeah.
Even though only like coders and people who knew how to install things onto servers were using it, it was so good that Google was like, we cannot let this get any more traction.
Damn. That's how you know it was good.
Yeah. Somebody was saying, somebody in the live studio audience is saying, Kagi is awesome if you don't mind $5 a month. That's true. Kagi's a great search engine.
Okay.
You have to pay for it. And honestly, maybe that's not such a bad thing if it's a good service.
I've paid for less useful things.
When I was, when I was working for Discovery, we had like memberships to things like LexisNexis and things like professional search engines. And that stuff cost way more. I just asked ChatGPT all my questions. Boo! Boo this man.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I hate when people ask ChatGPT something that could be answered by Wikipedia or Google.
Like, we have to be realistic that people are going to use ChatGPT. And I'm not going to exist in fiction. Like, I'm not interested in existing in fiction where like people don't use it. There are things that uniquely you can be helped with, like that can help you as a fucking human being navigate the world better.
Yes.
Like recently it was like, oh, I need help deciphering this legal document and I can't afford a lawyer to look over this. That is something really useful. Now, should you check the work? 100%. Do not trust any AI immediately.
Yeah, AI will lie to you because it doesn't know any better.
But it can be incredibly helpful for something like that. However, the energy that is used every time you type a question into ChatGPT is so fucking excessive. If it is something you can Google, then that is heinous.
Well, it's also that above and beyond that, which is a huge deal.
The environmental impacts are much bigger than you think they are.
They're big and they're ridiculous. Above and beyond that, it will just lie. It will just get things wrong, and it will get these things wrong confidently. And I understand why people are moving to it. Number one, search engines are now extremely polluted and start off with their own AI results themselves.
Yes.
I've installed so many extensions to remove AI from normal sites that don't need it, including Google. Number two, these companies are putting the AI right in front of you. Mm-hmm. So in most cases, it's easier to put your search into the AI toolbar than it is to go to a search engine.
Sure.
And because it's easy and because it gives you the same result and because it isn't surrounded by ads right now, because companies are trying to do something that we've seen them do 1,000 times and don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Everything starts off good and free without ads.
Yeah.
They do that so they can get their user numbers up, so their stock value goes up, so the investors go up, so they can start ruining the product.
Yeah.
You know this. You know this.
Yeah. Wolf of Herkheimer said, I really need to look into the whole environmental impact because I trust when people have said that, but my brain is still going slow. I think it took a while for it to be put into perspective for me as well. And the difference is when you search something on Google, right? It's searching through results of pages that exist. ChatGPT, which in general takes more power to run, like you're typing something in, it's activating in servers. There has to be everything that exists that you do online is physically hosted in a media server somewhere, right? Like there has to be something powering it essentially. So in addition to kicking all of that on that powers ChatGPT, what it's doing is it's running every possible probability and version of it. So it's like 1,000,000 times of a Google search because it is searching it in so many different ways to try and contextualize and understand and write something out for you.
Yes. So instead of, Google has everything indexed.
Yeah.
So it is moving to an index, which is, a database, which is easy to search. The computer looks for keywords, which are weighted, and it gives that back to you. With AI running through a large language model, it is literally running simulations of conversations in human language just to answer what is Labo.
Yeah.
Whereas Google is just like database, Labo, and it goes, here's Labo.
It's the difference between going to the library and asking a librarian for the location of a book. And they know where most of the books are in the library. So they're like, sure, no problem. It's right over here. And it takes a little bit from the librarian. But if you came to me and you asked me where the book is in your hometown library I've never been in, I would have to look through every single book in your library. That makes sense?
It's asking...
And I'd have to fly there too, and that took a lot of energy.
It's a simulation of human language and interaction just for a search query. I've run this stuff locally. You remember when I was doing experiments? Because when this stuff first came out, I had the same questions.
Yeah.
Particularly because a lot of our jobs are being taken by AI.
Yeah.
Design jobs, voiceover jobs. There's a lot of concern about it in the acting community, stuff like that. Writing scripts, all of this stuff. So I was like, let me run this stuff on my home computer and see what it's like. I've got a 3080.
Yep.
Okay. Not the newest thing, but a couple of years ago, it was plenty good.
Sure.
And it will run AI. I asked a question into the local LLM.
Yes.
And I listened to my graphics card spin up in a way that I have never heard. Just a wind tunnel. I looked at my task manager and my hardware manager, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It's using every resource to answer this question. Everything.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it works. And again, personally, I can say I am not generally anti-AI because it's not realistic to be anti-overall use of AI. And we've had AI existing in our lives for much longer than most of us realize or have known the wording for, had attention on. But I obviously think that it is incredibly important that we use AI responsibly and thoughtfully. Yes. We should know how AI works. We should know what the impacts are of it so we can use it measured in the same way that I'm going to eat fast food and I'm going to do so while knowing it's fast food and not thinking it's vegetables. That's it.
Yeah.
Things in moderation.
It's one of those things where because we are living in a world where everything needs to be monetized to continue to justify its existence, this technology is not ready and is being thrown at us.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be monetized. Because 5 to 10 years from now, it's going to be a very useful technology for certain things.
Yep.
But we got to make all the money off that now. And listen, if you saw the 5090 reviews that just came out, the transistors and the nanometers and the actual hardware improvements generation over generation, we are in one of those slow growth periods.
Yeah.
And during a slow growth period, these companies have to find new and different technologies that will sell you, because they can't just say this computer, this graphics card, this whatever is 3 times more powerful than the last one. They can't do that right now.
No.
We're not there yet. So you look at the 5090 reviews, and in sort of like raw performance over the 4090, we're talking about like 15, 20%, maybe 23% in certain games.
Yeah.
Right. But the moment you start turning on the AI stuff, the stuff that's not raw graphics stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're looking at 200 and 300% performance increases in number of frames.
Yeah.
Those frames don't make playing the game feel any more responsive.
No.
But if you're just looking for more frames because you've been programmed to think more frames better,
then it's doing it.
Right? So they are trying to finagle these things into the benchmarks that we all understand and we want.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the raw computing power right now.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody's going to sell you AI stuff. Like we were just talking about, Saige just got a new phone. I've got a 15, she's got a 16, right?
Here it is.
The 16, what they try to sell you right now is Apple AI.
It's so odd. So I went into the Apple store to buy it, and the first guy I'm talking to, so sorry, did not know anything. And it's very hard for me as somebody who, like, when I was a kid, I just wanted to be left alone in the Apple store to play with Apple tech. I was such an Apple fiend as a kid. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was obsessed.
Yeah.
And
the Apple store was one of the few places where you would go in and talk technology.
Yes.
And the people at the Apple store could at least speak to you intelligently about it.
Yes. Because it was like the Genius Bar, and it was like a thing to work at the Genius Bar.
Yeah.
And it was. And when I was 14, I used to hang out in the Apple store so much while my mom went and like browsed at the mall that they were like, when you are 18, you have a job here. You understand? You come back. You could be on the Genius Bar when you turn 18.
Did you do it?
No, I moved out of that city.
Oh, no.
That was in Orange County. But for years, every time I came in, they're like, a couple more years, you get your job at the Genius Bar.
There's an alternate.
I was so excited.
There's an alternate reality where you did that for a long time.
I know there is.
Where you did that for a long time, and you were like the cool girl at the Apple store.
Yeah, which I had an extremely. We're never going to get to the news today, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I had such an experience with that. So I'm this dude. I'm like, hey, just double checking. Like the cameras are identical between the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, and he's like, essentially. And I went,
what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Essentially.
And I was like, doing right now?
And he goes, and he starts reading the plaque in front of me, and I'm like, bolting. I'm gonna be chill about it. It's fine. It's whatever. And I'm like, it's okay. And then he like walks away, and he comes back, and I'm like, I already looked it up. It's all good, but I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm just purchasing the phone. It's fine. And he's like, and he starts to spiel about the Apple Intelligence, and I was like, no.
Please not.
No.
Please not at the Apple Intelligence.
No. Do you need help setting? No. Then I was getting an Apple Pen for our iPad here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, that's the accessories over there. And I turn around the corner, and I saw the cool girl of the Apple store. And I wasn't ready. I'm picking up the pencil, and I'm turning around to her at the accessories stand. And the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my entire life is standing there.
Yeah.
And she has a Littlest Pet Shop tattoo.
Yeah, she does.
And she has little bows made out of braids in her hair.
Yep.
Cool baggy pants with her Apple shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I like go to hand her the pen. I'm like, I love you.
I'm going to buy this Apple Pencil. Do you want to kiss after?
And I was just like, You're so cool. And it is the most extremely bisexual experience of like, I want to be you. I love you. I don't know. It was just, she was so cool. And I was like, damn, that have been my alternate universe working at the Apple store?
Yes. And here's the thing.
Would I have had a cool Littlest Pet Shop tattoo?
You have cool other tattoos.
All right.
They're no Littlest Pet Shop. They're no Littlest Pet Shop.
Littlest Pet Shop. She had the like little lamb from Littlest Pet Shop, which is like the coolest Littlest Pet Shop too.
But they're trying so hard to push the Apple Intelligence because
two different people.
The hardware over each generation right now in the iPhones is a minimal.
Incremental.
It's minimal until they can miniaturize an M chip.
Yeah.
To the point where it fits in a phone.
Which they're getting pretty close. They got the M chips in the iPads.
It's going to be incremental.
Yeah.
And the fact that Apple jumped so hard on the AI thing really kind of bummed me out.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, in the ancient times, Apple would have been the last to jump on intelligence. They would have been like, it's a gimmick, it's garbage, it's not ready.
Yeah.
When we do it, we want to make sure we're doing it better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because that's the Apple thing. It's sort of like when people make the comparison between Apple and Nintendo, that's usually what they do is it's like, it's not about new technology.
Yeah.
It's about technology, old technology that they figured out how to use in a perfect way.
Yeah.
That's what they're about. And so that's why people pay the Apple tax, right? Or the Nintendo tax. And you're always going to have more raw power on the other side of the fence, whatever. Mm-hmm. The old Apple would never have jumped this quickly into intelligence.
No, for sure. And they would have done something more unique with it when they did. They would have done something more useful and unique. I will say, iMacs are really person though.
They're gorgeous.
Damn.
The industrial design is still second to none. And honestly, right now, the minis are the best fucking computers out there.
The minis are a really good deal.
When you talked about the cool girl at the Apple store, it immediately made me. Have you heard of Tiffy Raw Time?
No. What is that?
This is something from Austin Public Access Television.
Okay.
From 1999.
Okay.
She has become popular recently on TikTok.
Okay.
The youth have discovered Tiffy Raw Time.
Oh, I have seen this on TikTok.
This was on Austin Public Access from like 1:30 to 3:30 in the morning or something. And it was music videos and a call-in.
That's awesome.
And like,
I have seen her on TikTok.
She is like the coolest.
1:30 to 3. First we saw the Cardigans with A Race Rewind. After that was Julia Reeves with Trouble is a Woman. And
but she starts taking these call-ins. Let me get to the call-ins.
She's cool as hell.
This Chromebook is terrible.
Okay. Raw Time.
Hey, do you have any Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit, or Tool, or Screw videos?
We do, but I don't think we're going to play them ever.
The coolest.
Tiffy Raw Time, man. That's the vibe.
Where's Tiffy now?
Tiffy now is a radiologist.
Whoa.
She's a mom and a radiologist.
Good for Tiffy.
Yeah. People have been discovering this on TikTok and they're like, she has such a vibe. And I was like,
yeah,
this was the late 90s, early Y2K vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Okay, weirdo.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Strange. Boop. She was 16 when she was hosting that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been allowed to do that, but.
Public access.
Yeah.
No rules, baby.
Super cool. This. This is Tiffy now.
That's Tiffy now.
Still with the side shave. Good for Tiffy.
Let's talk about some headlines, shall we?
I guess we'll get to it. Let's talk about the games.
Let's talk about the games first. The Xbox Developer Direct happened. It happened. And normally I'm kind of like, well,
yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? They show like a couple things and I'm always like, these poor developers. I know the Xbox video team, they're doing great work, but it's so funny because they will show up these developers' offices, these studios, and they will be like, we've got 2 days to train you, get you camera ready, and get you to talk about this game on camera.
Because we're not bringing in hosts for this. It's a developer direct.
It's a developer direct. And They do a really wonderful job, but you can tell some of these people are just like, I don't want to talk about this on camera.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, I'm good in an interview, I'm not good hosting, but they really want the developers front and center.
Yes.
So normally like watching these things can be a little jarring.
Yeah.
I thought this one was pretty decent.
I think it was, and the announcements were huge.
And they were extremely huge. The id guys were very good. Let's talk about this first. Doom the Dark Ages, which we knew was coming. We now know is coming May 15th. And holy shit, dude.
Looking good.
Holy shit. This fucks.
Now listen, I'm not a Doom guy. I'm more of an Isabel, but I'm interested. Every time a new Doom comes out, I'm like, maybe I'll do that.
Doom Eternal.
All 2 times that a Doom has come out in my adulthood.
Doom Eternal was so amazing because they turned Doom Eternal into a game about traversal.
Yeah.
Right? You were grappling hooking, you were jumping around. It was fast. I called it Tony Hawk with guts.
Yeah.
Because it was all about doing combos into these glory kills.
Yeah.
With this one, they said they're bringing it back to like the heavy, slow feeling of the older Doom games.
Yeah. I'm curious about that.
It looks amazing. They're really focusing on the melee and the stuff that you can do with the saw shield.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
Which, dude, the saw shield is amazing. It's context sensitive. It's one button for shield.
Yeah.
It either, it can block, you can throw it Captain America style.
Yeah, make it zoop.
Or if you block at the right time, a projectile, you can parry in a Doom game.
Ooh.
And then you can use your dash, that heavy dash you've got.
Yeah.
You can use your dash up into a glory kill after you parry stun somebody.
That's awesome.
It's got 3 melee weapons.
Yeah.
It's got a flail. Oh my God. It's got a flail, dude.
That's cool.
It's got a flail and a mace. And then it's got an electric gauntlet just for straight up clocking dudes.
Yeah.
They've changed the speed back to where strafe shooting and strafe aiming is now going to be like a much larger part of the strategy again, like old Doom. So you can strafe dodge projectiles really easily now.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't in older Doom. Damn, it looks good.
Yeah.
Doom is not normally like you listen to the kind of games that I like. You don't normally think of me as like a Doom person.
No.
But Doom absolutely fucks.
Yeah.
Doom is so good.
Yeah.
So good. And this one looks amazing. The other thing that they announced.
You want to go to the other one that you were excited about?
Yes.
All right.
The other thing that they announced, Ninja Gaiden 4, baby. We have waited. We have waited so long. And Koei Tecmo is back. Team Ninja is back.
I've never played a Ninja Gaiden.
Ryu Hayabusa is fucking back, my dudes. You've never played a Ninja Gaiden?
No. The world and setting on this looks really cool.
I don't know how you'd feel about a Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it is made by Platinum Games this time.
Yeah.
Because listen, Team Ninja is a name now. Itagaki took his people and he left.
Right.
For good or for ill, whatever you may think, Platinum is the perfect team to jump in and take this series over. Shocked it didn't happen earlier, really. I guess they were busy with Bayonetta. That makes sense.
I guess a little.
Ninja Gaiden
This looks really fun.
It looks so good.
It looks really fun.
I don't know how you feel about the older ones because they're very they're very like they were Souls before Souls.
Yeah.
So they were just hard to be hard.
Yeah.
They were obtuse to be obtuse.
Yeah.
Perfect timing was needed for everything.
Hate it.
And also, it was peak Team Ninja, peak Itagaki, which means like those ninjas had boobs and they wore no clothes. And they spoke with the voice of tiny girl babies.
Then I think you do know how I'd feel about these games.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrible in every way.
Half of the characters from the Dead or Alive fighting game are from Ninja Gaiden. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think you know.
I don't know.
I think you know.
The games are good though.
This one looked really fun though. The setting looked really fun. I didn't see baby voiced ninja boobs.
No.
So that seems like a huge
That's not really,
plus.
that's not as much Platinum's thing.
Yeah, it seemed like a big plus to me. That seems pretty cool. The traversal looked really, really fun. Oddly enough, there was like a couple of back-to-back scenes that reminded me of the latest Star Wars games traversals.
Yes.
Like specifically, there was a point where you're like going along the wall and then you were like grinding a thing essentially. And I was like, I did that exact combination of things in one of the more recent Star Wars
Except,
games.
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Because it's Platinum Games.
Yeah.
It's probably going to feel a little better.
Nice.
It's probably going to feel a little better than that. There are two protagonists. Obviously, Hayabusa is back. But now there is Yakumo, who is a new master ninja from the Raven clan. Love that. Yakumo has two play styles. Raven style and Nue style. Nue style is a more ranged, taking on crowds sort of attack style, which is very different from Hayabusa's style, which is like, I've got the special sword because I'm the special boy and I'll take you on one at a time and I've got to use like my ninja evasion. This guy is like, I'm going to hang back and just
fun.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Locked to two male protagonists.
Is Yakuo male? Maybe.
I don't know. You had said this guy
I think,
is.
oh yeah,
so I'm
Yakuo.
going off of your description of it.
I think so. Yakuo Ninja Gaiden.
I tend to find that pretty lazy. No, I really think like if you're making multiple protagonists, it's like...
Well, let's make sure.
Yeah.
Let's make sure. Because I saw Hayabusa.
Yeah.
But...
I'm like, give me something anywhere on the gender spectrum outside of just another man. And maybe, I don't know.
This one says Yakuma, which is different. I think
it does say Yakuma.
I think Yakuma is also male because I think that's who you saw doing the Tony Hawk rail grinds.
Yeah.
Because that's not a Hayabusa move.
So,
but who knows? Platinum is also known for having like multiple unlockables throughout games and stuff like that.
I love when I have to get to a certain point in the game and unlock something to be a woman.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I love when they put the woman behind a lockable level.
Yeah.
Where you have to do something in order to be able to play as anything other than a man.
Think of it this way. You got to earn it.
Oh, great.
Because she's better. You got to earn it. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but what if we tried to think of it that way?
Prove it.
Prove it though.
Prove it. There was a couple of other announcements though. Those were not it. There was 4 total games. You got more about Ninja Gaiden? Just
a little bit. Okay. I do want to say that if you haven't played the old Ninja Gaiden games, Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma version has been, Sigma meant something different then. Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma has been re-released on the Xbox. It's a new remake update.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played the old one, you can play the old ones now. 2 is the best of the new ones.
All right. So. The other game that I feel like people have been talking about a lot is South of Midnight. I've been seeing a lot of people react to this, which is very interesting because there was only 4 announcements, and I've seen things about 3 out of 4 essentially.
This is the one that we were very excited about last year.
Yeah.
This is the one that looks very much like what was the name of the show that we really loved before we found out that the man was terrible? And it was like, before we found out.
Unfortunately, Anthony, you've just described so many shows.
But it was Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. It was a Jonathan Majors show that we really loved.
What Jonathan Majors?
That was like that was Cthulhu. That was like what was it? Lovecraft Country.
I never saw Lovecraft Country.
Oh man, it's
Everyone
too late.
loved it. I know.
It's too late.
I know. Everyone loved it. And it was
you'd have to sit through Jonathan Majors.
And I wouldn't dare.
You wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't dare.
But Lovecraft Country.
People loved it. Yeah. Because I thought House of Cards too, and I was like, I know it's not House of Cards. This is a Southern Gothic fairy tale.
Yeah, no, this looks like Lovecraft Country, the game.
So yeah, this is described as like macabre Southern Gothic folklore. And it's like that setting on like a God of War style kind of play.
Do you know that I couldn't think of Lovecraft? I could remember country.
Interesting.
Lovecraft was just out of my brain for some reason.
Yeah, because you got to Cthulhu and I was like trying to think of a show that I'd seen though. Because you're like, we loved it. I'm like, I've seen this show.
No, this looks amazing.
This looked fantastic. We're not going to watch any of these trailers with audio on because sometimes
they like to hit us.
They like to beat us up.
But it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah. I mean, God, beautiful. I feel like we're not making enough like kind of quirky goth games in that like I'm not traditionally scary. I'm a little bit off. I'm a little bit like gothic, creepy. Traditional
like American horror is folklore horror is very like that. Harrow country is very like that too. Harrow, the comic book. Boy, I'm having a hard time remembering any.
But look at these monsters.
Harrow County.
This monster looked phenomenal. Look how cool that is.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That's so dope.
And the animation style is so good too, where it has just a little bit of that stop motion look, but it's not fully. Compulsion Games, by the way, the people who are making this, they are the people that made We Happy Few, if you remember that.
I loved We Happy Few.
They're ex-Arcane developers. Listen, if things keep going the way they're going, every Arcane developer is going to be an ex-Arcane developer. So they have the pedigree for this.
I was absolutely entranced with this shot right here.
It's so gorgeous.
That setting, when she enters into it,
that
unbelievable.
Swamp is so gorgeous looking. Like environment design, set design.
Look at this. As a Little Nightmares fan, you know I love a monster like this.
The fact that everything looks just a little, like I was saying, stop motion, wood carved.
Yeah. I don't know. The creatures in this were just like absolutely exceptional. Yeah. They were so creative. They don't look like other video games that came out in the last 10 years.
This is they're describing it as a wide linear game. So it's basically explorable areas that are gated.
Yeah.
So you have to do some things. It's very story heavy, which I think is good.
Yeah.
It's very, the player controls a weaver who repairs tears in the grand tapestry behind all existence.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with that, and I can't wait.
The magic system is based around textiles.
So this comes out April 8th, and I cannot fucking wait.
It's gonna be
I'm looking forward to it so much, and it feels so good to look forward to a new game.
Yes.
That's not a sequel to anything. That's just a new game. Ugh. Damn.
Hey, Microsoft, don't drop the ball with this one.
Yeah. Please
don't drop the ball with this in terms of marketing, in terms of sales. Don't like put it on Game Pass day one and then be like, well, it didn't sell well enough.
Sorry.
Don't do this shit.
Fix your shit. It's too cool for that.
Clean your house.
The other one, the fourth game that was in the developer direct was Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which we had seen a little bit, I believe, of before as well.
Okay.
And this one is a turn-based RPG. It's a 19th century fantasy France setting. And they described it as like reactive turn-based.
All right. But what does reactive turn-based mean?
Great question.
Does that mean like it's a Final Fantasy style ATB system, or what does that mean? Because I like the setting. I like that we're CGI Robert Pattinson or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Or whatever. He's very Lighthouse style Pattinson.
He looks like a combination of Robert Pattinson and Pedro Pascal.
So in the chat, somebody's like, everything's a Perry.
Yeah.
It's Paper Mario.
Yeah. Perry's all the way down.
I actually really love French design, like this sort of 18th, 19th century French design. I really do. And I think it's something that could be farmed a lot more for video games.
Yeah.
There was a lot of it in Lies of P, which I thought was very good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not particularly my thing.
Yeah.
I think this game did look pretty good.
It looks gorgeous.
I think it was overshadowed by 3 bangers.
I mean, here's the problem. You're going to show me
Doom, Ninja Gaiden, and then a beautiful gothic monstrous folklore game.
Right. Southern Midnight. You're going to show me Southern Midnight and then this after Southern Midnight. It's tough because I think visually Southern Midnight is sort of doing something similar in this fantasy world, but in a way that we haven't seen before.
Right.
Whereas this is doing it does feel a little bit more traditional in that I could see this being a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Right?
I do think they have like a cool original look to it. It's just hard because the other game was a more cool original look.
Yes.
Because like these giant creatures are really interesting. But also,
I think gameplay-wise, this is a totally different game.
100%.
That's going to appeal to completely different people.
1000%. But also, hey, they gave this creature like a straight up butt. Yeah. Hold on. Look at it when it runs away, okay? This big fantasy creature.
Yeah.
Why do the cheeks move separately?
Because that's physics, baby.
I don't think that this needed cheek physics, but maybe it did. And maybe I love it.
Listen, cheek physics are an important part of the Unreal 5 engine. Unreal
Anime
5
is an important part of our culture.
It's bringing cheeks in a way that gamers have been wanting cheeks for a long time. Like, and here's the thing, those cheeks are being rendered at a fidelity that we've never seen before, but also it is using AI upscaling on the cheeks.
Like, what's the reason for straight up crack there?
I like that he flies.
Yeah.
I like that the weird cheek monster flies like balloon.
But like, he's just a flying butt.
Yeah. That's very French.
Look at him.
That's very French. I love
I love his little wings, but I can't look at anything but his butt. And it's the angle they're following too. They're following right behind his butt.
Yeah, that's a butt cam.
And it's that his little legs move and the cheeks move separately with it. I find that very distracting.
That's how cheeks move, baby. That's what we've been waiting for.
I hope that someone else was feeling that way. Because I find that very distracting. I'm going to spend later looking through the comments to see if anybody mentioned cheek physics.
I feel like they're going to mention the cheek physics.
I'm really hoping they mention the cheek physics.
That was the developer direct.
Yeah.
I like that. One thing that I do like about these developer directs is they're very focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They are about visiting these offices, seeing the work.
Yes.
Highlighting 3 or 4 games. Mm-hmm. They're not throwing 3 or 4 games plus 20 at the end at you. It makes it feel like obviously they're trying to make it feel like Microsoft cares about developers.
Sure.
And they're doing a great job with that with this series.
Yes.
Are they doing a great job of that with their business decisions?
No.
But the series is there.
Yeah.
Talking about hanging developers out to dry, I want to talk about this EA earnings call that happened.
Ooh.
EA had a little bit of an earnings call, and EA did not make the money that they wanted to make the line go up.
Which is so crazy because it's almost like every earnings call from every massive corporation that's making absurd and exorbitant amounts of money and laying off exorbitant amounts of employees is always saying that on every earnings call.
Yes. It's weird. It's so strange, and I can't figure out what's going on.
It's almost like it's that fundamentally flawed system that we were talking about on Monday, where game budgets are getting to such an exorbitant degree of hundreds of $1 million, and there's no amount of games that they can sell to make themselves happy with having spent that money.
Because the businesses are no longer based on the real money. They're based on the imaginary money that comes from market sentiment.
How interesting.
And one of the things that EA said on this earnings call about why they didn't make enough money to make people feel good enough about EA is Dragon Age sucked. They said Dragon Age sucked and it was wrong and it was terrible and it only sold 50% of what we wanted it to sell. It was an underperformer because they did it bad.
And how dare they?
Dragon Age Veilguard sold 1.5 million copies. That's a lot of copies.
That's a lot of copies. I can't believe that's 50% of what they thought. Why did you think it was going to be 2 million copies?
Now,
or 3 million copies, rather.
Well, it's because Origins sold 1.2 million copies its first week.
Okay.
So they were thinking that this is a prestige series that's going to be a multi-million seller.
And it'll more than double that.
Well, remember that that Veilguard has sold 1.5 million to date. And Veilguard's been out for a few months.
Okay.
They were thinking if Origins sold 1.2 million its first week,
that to date,
baby, games are even more games now. We'll sell even more.
It's unrealistic to set the expectations that high when there's so many games available now.
Well, and also there's been such a long amount of time between Origins and this game.
Yeah.
This game, remember, was plagued by development issues, which makes it a very, very easy scapegoat for EA, right? Oh, development spiraled out of control. Like we couldn't get it wrangled. We couldn't get it out in time.
They lost every team member. They kept losing directors and writers.
And what I'll say about that is, hey, EA, why was that happening? Why were you hemorrhaging people from the management level of this company?
Yeah.
What were you doing that was simply forcing people in management positions and executive positions to leave this company?
I wonder.
Why is BioWare, what have you done between, let's talk about it, Anthem and this game and the Mass Effect, the fourth Mass Effect?
Yeah.
What have you been doing to BioWare that has caused a complete executive turnover multiple times? Multiple times. You could have started out as an intern on Veilguard and wound up the creative director by the end of it, by the way things were going.
Yeah.
So were they being forced to scrap this because the game wasn't good? Were they being forced to scrap it because they weren't meeting expectations? Or did the game not fall into the things that EA wanted from it?
Right.
That turned out to maybe not be things that clearly players wanted from the game, right?
Yeah.
Even this is a Dragon Age game. Dragon Age has such a rabid fan base.
Yeah.
And I have heard from a lot of people who play Dragon Age, it was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't what I wanted. I didn't even find time to play it because I didn't like the look of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a lot of people. I'm not saying it's everybody, but
No.
what did you do? What did you do to BioWare to make them make a game like this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people that I've seen that are Dragon Age fans have really enjoyed this game, that have played it. We had a lot of people in the chat immediately be like, it was a great game. One of the things that they cite in this Game Rant article is also that there was no post-launch DLC. They've just not done anything for this game to like...
There was barely a game, dude.
Yeah, like they haven't done anything to like keep supporting it like a lot of other games have, which is... I think worth noting as well. And I also think that like you're just setting expectations based on a completely different game market. Like that's like, oh yeah, I've saved up money for a house based on the amount of money it cost for my parents to buy a house.
Right.
Like, sure. Okay. Yeah. Then you've got $30,000.
Yeah. You can almost buy a car.
Yeah.
To live in.
Yeah. And the thing is that they're not unaware of that. They know what they're doing. And these earnings calls are always the thing that happens to justify layoffs.
Yes.
And that's what is so stressful about it is you see an article like this. It's like, they missed it. They underperformed, whatever. And then the brunt of that falls on the workers.
The other thing somebody was saying, EA's got sports games that print money. Unfortunately, EA Sports FC 2025, nay FIFA.
Sure.
Also missed expectations this year. Did not sell well or as well as they expected. And that couldn't have anything to do with the fact that EA has turned FIFA into a nightmare loot box situation.
Yes.
Certainly it's not that once you squeeze blood from a stone and there's nothing left. The thing is, infinite growth is impossible.
Yeah.
But that's what they want.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when you've got a soccer game that sells millions and millions of copies every year, you might have hit everybody who enjoys soccer.
Yep.
And video games.
Yeah.
You might be making as much money as you can.
And if you do it again, you make that money again. And that's great.
Yeah.
And that should be fantastic. Of like, we've reached the audience. They all bought it. That's awesome. And in a few years, once they've gotten their play out of it, when we do it again, or even a year later, because people are used to buying the yearly sports game. A year later, those same people will buy it again. That's like guaranteed money.
I think you've hit on an issue with sports games in general that somebody has brought up in the live studio audience as well, which is the old school yearly model of sports games updates is impossible.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the difference between, a couple years of an Xbox game
For sure.
or a 360 game.
Yeah.
And technology keeps rising and things you can do with games keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
We're at a point right now where sports games have figured out kind of optimal gameplay.
It's
and
the thing we were talking about with graphics cards and iPhones. Things can only get a small increment better right now because they're so good.
Most things are good. And so I think sports games players in particular are like, I'm tired of paying $60 a year for roster updates.
Yeah.
For new stats and new player names. They need to be thinking about buying a game once, maybe per generation.
Yeah.
And then, hey, maybe you do just get $20 roster updates every year.
I mean, look.
That might be the way to go.
The Sims has been doing it for how long? Dungeons and Dragons. I'll keep buying the expansion books.
Well, Sims is an interesting thing to bring up because that's an EA property.
And you'd have to see because Sims is now free to play, right? But with the base expansion packs, it prints money. Sims prints money.
Do you want the roster updates? Great. Do you want the classic jerseys? Great.
Yeah.
The issue is that you're asking people to pay $60 a year, and then you're asking them for money on top of that for things like classic jerseys, for like throwback stuff, for like new decor and like all of this all of this stuff should be microtransactions. Sure, that's acceptable, but on top of a game that's already been provided.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy that stuff every year.
And I don't want to switch over to a new game. And I don't know how things transfer over because I'm not a sports game player. But like if I'm going to change over to a whole new game next year, am I buying all of those things for my previous game for nothing? Are they coming with me? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a question. If you are somebody who plays these games,
they don't.
Are you starting over every time? So like the cool jerseys that you bought, do you have them from your last game? There are games that do that where you can port things over.
Yeah.
But like, why would I invest that much into this team I'm not going to have next year?
Yes.
If I'm going to buy a whole new copy of it.
Microtransaction for the Arsenal shirts when they were sponsored by Dreamcast. Yes. Can I tell you the only time I've ever gone onto the internet and looked for a jersey, a sports jersey, was the Arsenal Dreamcast jersey.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I will absolutely rep Dreamcast as my team.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You start over every year with this EA stuff. Yeah, you do. You start over.
That's crazy.
So I think
Can't imagine it.
And their sales are doing, let's just say this, even if they're not hitting their projections, sales for EA Football Club are good.
Yeah.
They're very good. The problem is you have reached the number of soccer people that you can reach. You've done it. You've done it. And the engine doesn't fundamentally change every year and the functionality doesn't fundamentally change every year.
Yeah.
Perhaps you need to look at keeping development costs down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, maybe every game shouldn't be $100 million.
What if?
What if?
What if?
Anyway, this sucks. This sucks real bad for BioWare.
Yeah.
BioWare just keeps taking L after L, and I genuinely don't think it's BioWare's fault.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't.
Like, nobody is saying that Veilguard was bad.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, it wasn't for me. It wasn't what I wanted. But like, people are generally reporting, and the critics gave it great reviews, that it's a good game.
It's a good game.
It's hit or miss on if it's what people wanted. But in general, they made a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Moving over to a bit of movie news. Before we wrap up here. We're not going to get into them, but the Oscar nominations happened. And let me tell you, as somebody who does not care about like award shows and does not generally see the like Oscar bait movies.
Yeah.
They're not really for me. I go to the movies very frequently, and somehow, and no joke, like this last year, I went to the movies all the time. Somehow dodged almost all these movies.
Yeah.
Somehow missed almost every one of these movies that's nominated.
You are actually very proud of your little movie golden ticket.
I love going to the movies.
You go to the movies like once a week.
Yeah. I'd say like every couple weeks I go to the movies. I go to the movies at least once a month. I missed almost all of these movies. Literally. No, hold on. Let me show you. Ready? Yeah. This one's going to be silly. Best Picture.
Best Picture.
I'm going to get roasted for this. Again, somebody who goes to the movies at least one time per month. Honora, no. The Brutalist, no. A complete unknown, no. Conclave, no. Dune Part 2, no. Amelia Perez, no. I'm Still Here, no. Nickel Boys, no. The Substance, no. Wicked, yes. That's the only Best Picture nom that I saw. I did really want to see Honora, and I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
That one was high on my list.
Honora's great. Honora's amazing.
I really wanted to see Honora. The Substance, I didn't feel like I could handle.
You would feel so icky all the way through.
Yeah, I think I felt like it was going to make me throw up. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Everything else, passed. Actually, I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about Nickel Boys.
Yeah.
But
I have never heard of Nickel Boys until now.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of good stuff at the time. I'm hearing obviously a lot of shit talking on Amelia Perez. And then a lot of people intensely defending Amelia Perez. There's no in between. But yeah, I didn't see almost any of these fucking movies that are nominated. And as you know, with any award show, it is that is the list of basically every movie that will be nominated for every category.
I have heard of Nickel Boys. This is the one about the reform school. They get sent to reform school in Florida. In the 60s. Yeah.
The only things that you're gonna see pop up will be like a little addition in like animated feature films. You got Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, and The Wild Robot. Saw almost all of them.
Well, here.
I love to see an animated movie.
So Best Picture for me.
Yeah.
I have seen Honora.
Nice.
I've seen The Brutalist.
Okay.
I've seen Dune Part 2. I have seen The Substance, and I have seen Wicked.
Wow.
I have no interest in the Bob Dylan movie.
No.
I don't care about the Bob Dylan movie.
No, of course not.
Anytime I see a movie like the Bob Dylan movie now, I just think of Walk Hard.
Yep.
I just think every one of those movies is Walk Hard.
Yeah.
It's just Walk Hard. And Walk Hard is so, Walk Hard roasted an entire genre of film.
And it made you never able to take that genre of film seriously ever again.
It roasted it so completely and utterly and perfectly that I was just like, that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
You don't want none of this shit, do we? What, was it addictive? It's the least addictive stuff on earth. What, is it expensive? No, it's very cheap. It's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Does it make you angry? It just makes you feel calm. That and the fucking scene where they meet the Beatles.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I think about that Beatles scene like once a week.
Yeah.
It's me, Paul McCartney from the Beatles.
Low Dog said the Weird Al one was good. It was.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good. Here's the problem, though. Mm-hmm. I wish Weird Al had done that before Walk Hard.
I don't know. It's really good.
It's really good. I did.
I really loved it. It felt separate enough for me.
It did.
It felt like a Weird Al movie, which was really great. And I was afraid of it not feeling like a Weird Al movie because I am a huge, UHF I loved fan. UHF as a kid. I don't think I can watch UHF very much now. There's a lot of problematic parts of UHF, but UHF was incredibly important in my childhood. And I was worried about it not feeling like a Weird Al movie, and it did.
Turns all your bad feelings into good feelings. It's a nightmare.
I will say, obviously saw Nosferatu. I think undoubtedly that should win for cinematography.
Nosferatu was a beautiful film. It was very, very Robert Eggers.
Extremely, but also the cinematography was genuinely brilliant.
Yeah.
Watching that movie, I was like, I don't love this movie as much as I want to love this movie, but I am entranced by the visuals, and that is enough for me. Yeah. I'm here because I'm loving the cinematography so much, and very few movies do that.
I loved it. I love every Robert Eggers movie. Yeah. I'm one of those people. I can understand why a bunch of people went and saw it and were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Especially after The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, my God, The Lighthouse, amazing. Yeah. And then they went and they saw Nosferatu, and it was fucking Nosferatu.
Yeah. It was. I will say, since nothing else from the Oscars mattered, let's continue on the train of Robert Eggers, because great news if you did love Nosferatu or The Lighthouse. Currently, Robert Eggers has just signed a deal with TriStar Entertainment to work on a Labyrinth sequel. David Bowie's Labyrinth.
Okay. Let's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's be cool, because first of all, they've been trying to make this literally since the first one. So many directors and production companies have been attached writers to Labyrinth 2 over the years.
Yeah.
And it has never happened.
Yeah, it's giving Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Exactly. We've even known people who have been attached to this movie. Somebody that we know was at one point writing Labyrinth 2.
Yeah.
That did not happen, obviously. I think I would love to see it happen, but I wouldn't. I would and I would not.
Yeah.
Love to see it happen because there are a few things that you're going to be losing here. First of all,
David Bowie.
Pretty
important part of Labyrinth.
Number 2, in what capacity is Jennifer Connelly there?
Right.
Number 3, Terry Jones isn't writing it.
Sure.
What are we doing?
Reportedly, there is a completed script. Now, that doesn't mean they will use that completed script, but reportedly, there is a completed script. There's no word yet on whether or not it's going to be a musical, on whether or not any original characters will return. There's no other information on it, just a deadline report that Robert Eggers is signed on.
Here's the thing about that, about saying we don't know if it's a musical, we don't know if any characters are going to return. Just let Robert Eggers make a movie about weird little puppet guys. Just let him make a weird little puppet movie. If there are no characters coming back and it's not a musical, why not just let Robert Eggers do his own whatever?
Yeah, don't call it Labyrinth.
Don't call it Labyrinth. Just, let him do his thing. Here's the other thing. Yeah. Robert Eggers, I think, is very fascinating as a choice. He's obviously a very visual director. He's obviously very good at absurdism and creeping horror and things like that.
Yeah.
Labyrinth was very silly.
Labyrinth is camp.
Labyrinth is very camp.
And I do not for a moment trust Robert Eggers to do camp.
Not really his thing.
I don't. After seeing Nosferatu, I do not trust him to do camp.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he'd ever make a bad movie. I don't think this comes out as a bad movie.
But I don't know if it comes out as Labyrinth.
That's the thing. Labyrinth, you got to remember that Labyrinth was Jim Henson, George Lucas, David Bowie, Terry Jones.
That's some of the silliest people in Hollywood. They make goofy ass shit.
And all of them at that point were at the highest level of their powers, right?
Of their goofy ass powers.
Of their goofy ass powers. What I think the world has been saying for so long is more puppets, more fantasy puppet silly movies.
I think we're all in for more puppets.
Less children and family movies that have to be the DreamWorks eyebrow. We're making pop culture references.
Yeah.
This is very safe. There isn't anything very scary in them.
Yeah.
We've forgotten that kids love to be scared.
Yes.
Kids are pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a family movie without making it absolutely dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we've lost the middle ground between kids' movies and movies for adults. We've lost this is a whole family movie that isn't catered at kids.
Yes.
It isn't, this is a kids movie that your parents can tolerate or that your parents can be like, oh, this is a fun kids movie.
Yes.
You know?
Do you know
something that is oh yeah, this is just a movie and it's not something kids can't see.
Yeah. Do you know what I think hit that mark? Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm. That one felt a little more kids, I think. I don't know. I do think they nailed it. I loved Skeleton Crew.
I think they nailed
all
it
the way through.
I think Skeleton Crew kind of crushed that.
Yeah. I agree. They got that old, Goonies kind of.
That 80s thing where it's this is a kid's movie, but it is for families.
Yeah.
It's funny how 80s and 90s, we really did remember that kids understand what gross and scary and dark things are.
Yeah.
And talk about it a lot. That's basically all kids talk
Obsessed with it.
But you watch a kid's or a family movie now and it's not what it's about.
Yeah. I agree with Low Dog in the live studio audience. And Snake Zero said it felt very Goonies. Snake Zero said it felt very Goonies. It's an amazing show. Low Dog said, I felt like a kid watching it. And I think that was really effective too.
Yes.
I did. It felt like watching it as a kid. And it had so much those two little girls were so cool.
Yes.
I was just God, what cool, weird little space girls.
Do you know what I love? I love watching all those kids doing interviews.
Mm-hmm.
because the one that they all think is the coolest is Neil. The kid who plays Neil, they all love. Yeah. They're just like, and he's usually the one that's like making quips and stuff during like, I love that.
He's the one who's in that horrible Jack Black Christmas movie about Satan.
Yes.
He's terrible in it.
But I remember watching, like, my parents genuinely enjoyed watching The Neverending Story with me.
Yeah.
They genuinely enjoyed watching Goonies. They genuinely enjoyed watching The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of parents now, they go to family films and a lot of them, and they go, the kids really loved it. There's some fun stuff in there for grownups too.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Hate that.
There need to be more movies that the entire family goes, this was our movie growing up.
And for grownups does not mean, and a lot of the time this is what it means there's a couple of wink, wink, nudge, nudge jokes that go over the kids' heads. I don't want that.
No.
I want jokes that we all agree, all of us, were funny.
Yeah.
I want parts that were just interesting.
A
story that matters.
In my house, we used to just be like, do you want to go up or down?
Yeah.
Like, we all thought that was cute and funny and cool.
Yes. I think animated movies are the only ones doing it.
Well, I was thinking a lot as we've been talking about this. I've been thinking a lot about The Wild Robot.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about The Wild Robot getting nominated. I hope The Wild Robot wins.
Everything.
And two people who were laid off of DreamWorks go up to accept their Oscar.
Yeah.
And I hope DreamWorks has to watch that happen.
I hope they go up to announce Best Picture and they give it to Wild Robot. They ignore all of those live action movies and they just go, actually, we're just going to give it to Wild Robot.
Let's just give it to The Wild Robot, honestly, actually. It was very good.
It was the only movie I really enjoyed this year.
But The Wild Robot had a lot of that. I think it still is very of our time where it was like jokes for kids, jokes for grownups. But there was a lot of that meshing of like, no, there's a lot of heart in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of real story in this. There's something in there for everybody who's watching.
Yeah.
It was good. It was very good.
We're not getting that in live action right now.
No. Live action family. The two things that have really gone away with the top heavy blockbuster movies, we've lost comedies and we've lost family movies.
I agree. And I do not think that this Labyrinth sequel is going to be a family movie by Robert Eggers.
Do you know what?
I don't think for a second.
What if this is something where it's like, where it's like, this is a director who like pops up and is known for like one thing and it's their favorite thing.
Yes.
But it's just like, it's just good enough to do the other stuff as well.
Would be amazing. Hope he kills it.
I hope he kills it.
I hope he absolutely kills it. They're not saying it isn't a musical, to be clear. They're just saying nobody has said anything. So my hope is definitely on it being
What if it's musical, like Barry Coogan doing like a Moonlight?
Okay.
You know, and then going and doing like a Lion King and a Black Panther too. And we're just like, holy shit. He can do it all.
Sure.
He can do it all and it all works.
Sure. Yes to Black Panther.
Or Ryan Coogler, sorry. What if it's like a Ryan Coogler thing?
It's going to need to knock me out of the park more knock it out of the park more than that for me. It's going to need to knock my socks off.
Well, because you've got this is a real heavy, personally connected one for you, right?
I love Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I love Labyrinth.
Whereas like Coogler going and doing The Lion King, we weren't like, you and I weren't just like, oh my God, the live action Lion King must be the best.
Everyone hated the live action Lion King.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did everybody hate it?
Like universally hated.
I thought everybody kind of dug it. I think they just didn't like, I thought it was just one of those things where it got caught in the Disney live action remake thing.
No,
where
everybody was like you just made the same movie in worse visuals because they were like almost shot for shot remakes and it was just like weird to look at. No, generally not beloved.
Somebody says this, Skywalker in the live studio audience says, this feels more like a Jordan Peele production company thing to me, Labyrinth.
Could be.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. That's somebody who is equal. But this is the thing, is Jordan Peele is equally proven in comedy and horror, right?
Yes.
And so that's why we think that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we just haven't seen Eggers do enough comedy. Yeah. I think there were parts of The Lighthouse that had me like cackling, laughing, and they were dark, but they were hilarious.
Yeah.
And it makes me think, he could do it.
Yeah.
He could do it.
Yeah. I'm open to it. I wasn't personally, as somebody who loves Labyrinth very much, was not hoping for a sequel. Some things are just like, yeah, and that felt good. And I want more movies like it, but I wasn't necessarily hoping for another Labyrinth. So I'm curious to see.
Restore, remaster, and re-release more movies into the theater without remaking them.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of like a remaster.
I'm pretty sure Labyrinth came back to theaters like a month ago.
But was it
very brief? It was like an AMC.
That's what I'm saying.
Not like a thing.
That's what I'm saying. I think there should be more like when you and I were kids, they did things where they would like bring out a Disney movie and then just
take it out of the vault, Anthony.
And then
take movies out of the Disney vault?
The Disney vault is for home only. I'm talking about theatrical.
Yeah.
They used to release a movie and then release it again a couple years later.
Yeah.
Like we went and we saw the Little Mermaid twice.
Yeah.
I think we went and we saw Beauty and the Beast twice.
Yeah.
Hey, let's start a culture of remastering and putting out movies that are still good.
Yeah.
There's nothing in Labyrinth right now that makes it anachronistic culturally.
Yes.
There's nothing that makes it because there's no point in which Sarah has an opportunity to go for a cell phone. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
There's no, like, she's sitting there in the beginning.
Yeah.
Goblin King comes and then she's in a magical world. There's nothing that kids today could not relate to.
Yeah.
You could just bring it back out.
I'm down with it.
Give more movies the Star Wars treatment. Maybe we don't need to add as much new stuff. You know?
I'm very curious to see what happens. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens, but so that we have time for today. Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait.
Really quickly? Can we show this photo really quick?
What photo? Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and show it.
It's really nothing.
It's nothing.
It's truly nothing.
And it's everything.
It lets you know it's real.
It's everything.
It lets you know it's real. It's in production. James Gunn tweeted out this photo from the Supergirl set.
That was also,
letting you know this movie's really happening.
Millie Alcock originally put that on her Instagram with just a little rocket and a heart.
Cute.
And it's happening. We're getting a Supergirl movie.
It's for real.
It's for real.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Where do we know her from?
She's a House of Dragons. We've talked about this.
Yes. Okay. I was trying to remember. Yeah.
She's a hot D, as the internet says.
Sorry, what?
House of the Dragons. The fan community calls it hot D.
I wish they wouldn't. But that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us and spending your morning with us. We really appreciate it. That isn't all of the news. If you are subscribed to our Patreon, patreon.com/pixelcircus, you get a bonus story from the show. Something we didn't get time to talk about, something a little extra. Sometimes it's a little weirder stuff. You can go and check it out. And when you subscribe, you get access to the entire backlog. There's so much more. And there's a lot of stuff that is like not particularly time sensitive and just good old videos on there.
That's right.
$5 a month or start with a free trial. Anthony, when you're not here, where else are you?
You can find me everywhere online at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, is mine. Give it back to me. And of course, on my two podcasts, the official Marvel podcast, straight from Marvel, and the We Have Concerns podcast with Jeff Kanata.
And you can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. A quick shout out to somebody who works with the circus a lot. That's a personal favorite person of mine. Carlos Luna's at Madison Square Garden right now.
That's right.
The Dimension 20 at Madison Square Garden live show.
Sold out Madison Square Garden.
So a shout out because that's really fucking cool.
To play Dungeon and Dragon.
Shout out to all of our lovely friends that work on Dimension 20. And obviously Carlos gets a special one because that's really neat. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe go follow him. Cool thing. Good luck.
Good luck.
I think that's neat. And we're going to go through and we're going to thank everybody who supported us during this show today here on Twitch. We'll go through and read off your subscriptions, your tips, your bits, because it's so possible. There's a bunch of free stuff you can do. You could join the Discord. You could tell a friend about it. You just hang out. You just be here. That's also neat.
It's all neat.
That's always enough.
It's all very cool.
Thank you very much to Thunder Cabbage, 1 for 52 months. We appreciate you so much.
10 months for Snake Zero. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Am I Will I Am for 33 months.
Wow, 34 months for Demo Nacho, saying already 34 months and still looking for the peanuts. I did find a good community, though.
Have to agree. Jelly PB for 41 months said, don't be telling anyone I like you, okay?
But you do.
We know.
We do. V squared 30 with 47 months saying doom and gloom, but at least I'm still here. We're all still here, baby. Just like Bob Dylan.
I guess.
Just like the Bob Dylan film, I'm still here.
We love you guys. Bye.